Is live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Married Life Fellowship on ALFC Live. We're excited. We're calling this. We're calling this Super Monday, the first Monday of May, and so we're here, Gayla Bond, in our home, broadcasting to you. First time for us, so listen. Be patient with us. Be gentle. But we're going to have a great time. We've got our Married Life Fellowship team. Say hello to them.
Hello.
Hello, Married Life Fellowship team. How are you all doing?
Great.
Hello.
Great.
Hello.
Good to see you all. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in either on the ALFC Facebook page or YouTube. Tonight, we're going to spend some time with you, a few moments. Thanks for inviting us into your home.
And we also like to thank our pastors, Pastor Shannon, Pastor Jared, and most of all, Pastor Charles Neiman. Thank you so very much.
We're going to give a shout out to our producer, who's behind the scenes, Pastor Jimmy. So thank you for setting this up and allowing us to become ALFC Live Married Life for the very first time. So a little comment is, it appears to me that many of us as couples have spent a lot of time at home together for all the obvious reasons. I spent more time at home. I haven't traveled in about 7 months. Seems like 7 months. It's only been 3 months, but it seems like 7 months. And I spent all my time here at home in my home office with Gayla. Gayla thinks I'm invading her space. But over the past few weeks, all of us have had to make some dynamic changes based upon all of the bizarre events that have been ongoing. And under any circumstance, communication and quality time are important. But the dynamics this time, of course, is that husbands or wives who normally work out of the home are working in the home. More importantly, if one works in the home and the other one doesn't, now that person is, quote unquote, invading their routine and their rhythm. Of course, the children aren't in school anymore and aren't in any activities, so they're at home. And by default, either one of you have become homeschool teachers. So these dynamics are crazy in themselves. But you add to that the stress of what's going on outside of the home, what we see in society, what we see on the news if we listen to it, and hopefully you're not listening to it too much because it's so repetitive. But all of these dynamics cause us to question a little bit about how are we communicating? Because I'm in my work mode at home and in my family mode at home, and I'm trying not to cross up the two. But sometimes it gets a little difficult. So we want to have a healthy work-home communication. Now, in addition to all of that, when I get a chance to do look at a little television, there's nothing on there but reruns. No new movies, no live sports. Man, no live sports. And in addition to that, I was sitting on a television the other night, and the only thing that showed up was the 96 Cowboys beating the socks off the Steelers in the Super Bowl. Really? See, our producer has a sense of humor. So I've got to find a way now to entertain myself. And that means that I've got to find a way to maintain the harmony and flow in my home. And so I want to get started in talking a little bit about some communication styles. These communication styles are those that are both in our workplace and our home and are common to both. And I try not to cross up the two, but Gayla says sometimes I do.
Do speak two languages.
Two languages.
Two languages.
Do you understand both of them?
Sometimes.
Our personality dictates how we communicate, and obviously that's a given. But also, over the time that we're at work, there's this repetitive nature, and we'll bring some of that communication activity and traits into the home. So we want to talk a little bit about those 4 communication styles and how they impact our home. But before we do that, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Okay, so that's really not our sponsor, and it was a silly illustration, but I did that, A, to grab your attention, and B, to let you know, oftentimes we wish there was just a pill to be able to solve some of the things that go on in our lives, but there isn't. There is not an easy fix for this. Communication between a husband and a wife in families is work. It takes a focused effort. And Heritol is not a real solution because it's not a real product. The real product is, first of all, the Word of God, and we follow what the Word says to manage our husband and wives and family relationships. And then secondly, we pay attention and we put in some effort and we put in some work. And it's just one small seed that grows between a husband and a wife. And when one knows that the other one is making the effort, what a dynamic opportunity that causes for us to communicate. So we're going to talk about 4 communication styles. And the first one is amplifier and condenser. And sometimes I'm an amplifier because an amplifier is somebody that likes to practice what? An amplifier is somebody like me who can just go into too much detail about a specific topic or subject because I'm an analyst. And so I go into this analytic mode and I tell you how the watch was made instead of what time it is. And sometimes Gayla gets a little irritated by that. Gayla, on the other hand, can be a condenser, which means she just wants to get to the bottom line. Here are the facts. But it's interesting because if Gayla's talking about something that is very important to her, such as bowling or creative arts, then she becomes an amplifier and I become a condenser. And so you can see how these roles can change and how these roles can mix. So what do we need to do? What's our solution? Well, those times when I am an amplifier, I have to realize my audience and go, well, maybe she doesn't care about the spreadsheet and 50 variables and what I had to do to analyze those. Maybe she just wants to know that the work was important and I was able to complete it.
Yeah.
And bowling?
This is important too.
And if it's important to her, then it's important enough to me to pay attention and to listen.
Yeah.
So oftentimes many of us are also in different stages of our life. And a big part of communication is nonverbal communication. And as we go through these stages and phases in our lives, we pay attention to those little cues.
Yeah.
As husbands and wives know, you can just give that look. You don't even have to peep over the glasses. You can give that look, and your husband or your wife knows exactly what you mean. And oftentimes we have to pay attention to those nonverbal clues that allow us to be able to meet our spouse's needs. But more importantly, for those of you that have children in the home, each one of those children communicates differently. They came from the same family. How could they be so different? But they are. And so now you're learning how they communicate. And I can only imagine how frustrated they could be because they can't get out and get back into the social order that they are so used to at school. They can't go to the movies. They can't go hang out. They can't go to their different activities. They're not in sports. How are you parents handling this? God bless you. The second communication style that we want to talk about, competitive versus consensus.
Mm-hmm.
And which are you, Gayla?
Consensus. You're competitive.
No, it depends. It's interesting. Oftentimes, depending on the type of job positions you have or where do you work, you may be in a competitive mode. A competitive mode means competition, dominance. Okay, I have to assert myself in a certain way. And there used to be a time when I did that, and Galen would make sure I understood that, hey, that's a work thing. But the consensus style is one that wants to do a, let's hold a group think session. Let's have a kumbaya meeting. Let's all get together and communicate and think this thing out and think it through. And for those that are competitive, our mindset is we don't have time for that. There's a short timeline. There's a decision to be made. We got to make that decision and we got to get it done right now. But oftentimes, that's the right solution for the right opportunity, the right occurrence, but not necessarily in the home.
That's true. Because a lot of times too, in a consensus, the competitive person will just want to get it done. But I, the consensus person, want my opinions heard as well. So he doesn't give me an opportunity to do that. And that's not right either.
Noted. I will do better. How many years? We've been married 40 years.
41.
I mean, we've been married 41 years. And I've learned a thing or two over those 41 years that we all have different communication styles. And I have to pay attention to those. But it's interesting that depending on the situation, a different style may emerge. So really spending some time with one another and learning how Gayla communicates in certain situations is really important to me.
And vice versa.
Thank you. Our third communication style is direct and indirect communication. And it's interesting because spouses communicate directly or indirectly all the time. It depends on what you want out of your spouse or how you're trying to motivate your spouse. So we all have these different voices that we use when we communicate. We have this direct or indirect manner. Direct communicators are rarely misunderstood. They say what they mean what they say. My dad was a direct communicator. Boy, get over here and get this done. There was no mistaking what Dad wanted. He called my name, boy, told me where he wanted me, over here, and then he said clearly, get this done. He was a direct communicator. But indirect communicators, sometimes in a husband and wife relationship, don't say what they really mean. They hold back a little bit. And sometimes that can be a little bit misunderstood. So, Gayla, what do you really mean?
You know what I mean?
Direct communicators always want to say it and blurt it out. And sometimes they have to understand that their words may wound or injure the person that they're communicating to. Now, you've all been in this situation where you've done something that was stupid. You've done something that was stupid. I'm talking about myself. And you could be called out. But sometimes it's important to say to your mate, you know, I don't know if that was a really wise decision versus saying, hey, that was stupid. Direct communication says that was stupid. That may injure the other person. Saying it was an unwise communication, maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, that would be a lot better.
And if you're an indirect communicator, now indirectly, how do you get what you want out of me indirectly, Gayla? How do you indirectly communicate?
You just say it nicely.
Oh no, husbands and wives, we all have that third level of communication called husband and wives code talk. The code talk that we have with each other, that's that other form of indirect communication. Homework assignment, work on that third level code talk, indirect communication. That's that secret secret communication that you all have between one another, which is
Mhm.
extremely valuable, and don't lose it. And number 4, hot and cold. I like hot and cold. Hot and cold communication style. Because oftentimes in conflict in your communication, or where things are tense, where things are tight, and maybe over these last several months, with all that has been happening, maybe there's been some tense opportunities, maybe sometimes to have some serious discussions. Many families have been dealing with a lot of external pressures, whether it's at work, whether it's with other family members, whether it's with illness, whether it's with finances, and there can be a hot and cold. What does the hot want to do? The hot wants to engage the situation right away and fix it. Let's engage it. Let's solve it. Let's get the issue out there. Let's get it done. I like to call this the Top Gun method of communication. And the partner with the cold style, which maybe I don't want to say cold, maybe I say
Talk to me, Goose. Roger, I got him. Contact 20 left, 30 miles, 900 knot closure. Underneath my feet, it rolls around the sun.
the Top Gun method. As soon as I line it up in the sights, I'm pulling the trigger. While that may work in certain situations, oftentimes that doesn't even hold true at work.
Mm-mm.
So I have to be cognizant of my audience, and I have to definitely be cognizant of the pressure to relieve the tension that I may have as a hot communicator, and recognize that my partner wants to do what?
Take my time and process things. Don't you want to process things?
Yes. For 30 minutes a night when ESPN is on, I'm processing. So hot communicators want to fix it right away. Cold communicators are those that want to thaw, need some time to process it. And as you understand each other's communication styles and the various ways they communicate, it means that you understand their behaviors and their patterns. And we want to make sure that if there are communication patterns that are unhealthy, we want to make sure that we dismantle those and put in communication activities and patterns that are healthy to allow us to open up and to really communicate and support one another. The fact that we have differences in the way that we communicate doesn't mean that one person is right or wrong. It's that we're learning and acknowledging our
Right,
communication style.
right.
And that awareness makes a huge difference. Now, communication challenges are a big part of marriage, a big part of family relationships, a
Yes.
big part of how we communicate with our children. At one time, my children were kids that spent a lot of time telling me all about their day, everything that went on. I got it in spades and in detail, and I loved it. And then something happened, and then they became teenagers. And since then, instead of becoming amplifiers and telling me all the wonderful things that happened in school, I'd ask them, so how was school? They go, fine.
Fine.
Then what did you learn today? Nothing.
Nothing.
Did you get any homework? Yes. And so immediately, this child that was just so full of information and enthusiasm and telling me about their day, which I loved, my little blessing became a teenager. And now we have to find a different way to communicate with that person who is learning themselves about who they are and how to communicate with the outside world. We have to find ways to communicate with them. And so I had to figure out what's most important to them and find a way to communicate. So the challenges are numerous, and I can only imagine in your homes right now during this period of time what those challenges are. But the real challenge during this time, when there's so much uncertainty in our world, so much uncertainty in our economy, so much news that seems negative or that seems to want to draw us down, the real challenge is for us to not to give in to fear.
Right.
The real challenge is not to bring that attitude of fear or that communication of fear. This is the opportunity when our communication and our words during these challenging times, we get a chance to reaffirm one another. We get to demonstrate to our children, to our husbands, to wives, to each others, and to our family, have an expectant hope in God,
Yes.
an unwavering trust
Yes.
in his love and
Yes.
his care and in his provision. You all know the word. Jesus said he would never leave us nor forsake us. You hear it every time you come into ALFC or every time you log on. God is on our side.
Yes.
His word is forever settled in heaven. He does not fail. And so we put our hope and our trust in him, even throughout the chaos that may be
Yes.
outside our door. Inside our home, we can manage that. And a big part of that is communication. So hopefully those 4 communication styles were helpful to you. We just did a little bit to give you an insight as to what dynamic may be happening with your family and with Gayla and I. Even though there aren't any children in the home, we have this extended family, and we're always spending some time with them and also a lot of time with each other, because now I'm home and Gayla doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yes, I do.
She can't stand, she hears the brilliance coming from my office, and oftentimes she's astounded. She didn't know I was that smart. Actually, she didn't know that many people would call me for advice and attention. See, honey, I am important.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, dear. Anyway, enough of that silliness. Gail wants to share something with you, and then I'm going to let our Married Life Fellowship team share some great thoughts for you.
Oh, I just want to let you know that we do have confessions, just for today, confessions. And you can find them posted on our Married Life Facebook and Instagram. Just go to Facebook and Instagram and you'll see them. And they're called Just for Today.
Look forward to that. We'll be updating those on a regular basis. So please do that. We thank you for logging in. We thank you for spending time on our Facebook and our Instagram pages. Now, I have heard of some creative things that families have been doing during this shut-in period, which has been weeks, but now it seems like months, and it may even be another month. And so I want to know what your ideas are at home that you have, and you'll have an opportunity to chat and log in and chat and let us see what your ideas are. But I also have our Married Life Fellowship team that's going to share with you some of the creative ideas that they have done, creative experiences that they've created, both as couples and as families, as they've spent this time together in their homes, communicating, having fun, and keeping the light on. So, Raj and Melissa, we're going to ask you to come on and tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Go, no.
Why am I spinning?
Oh, hey, well, pause. Hey, everybody.
Hi,
I'm Raj.
I'm Melissa.
Okay. So we just wanted to share some of the things that we have been juggling and doing while we're in this close quarters situation. So first, a little bit about us. We've been together for over 11 years. We have one young adult, 2 teenagers, and 1 6-month-old. So this has kind of put us all within close distance to each other to work on our communication. So the first thing we decided was calories don't count. So we decided to wipe away any issues with food and just go on food explorations. But the way we went ahead and built on that is everybody participated in making dinner work. Everybody had everything from grating cheese to boiling, some vegetables. So we made everybody participate in that family meal style. Next thing we also did was Easter was around. So we decided to have a little bit more fun with this. Since we couldn't go outside, we went ahead and had Easter egg wars in the back. So as you can see, I'm still cleaning up that mess.
Aw. Are you?
Ah! Yeah.
I'm the competitive one.
That's a little bit touching on what Vaughn and Gail were talking about, competitive and consensus. One of the biggest things that we learned was before all this, we had very busy lives, everything from work to school to sports for the kids, after school clubs and everything. And it was very, very busy. So communication time was very low. There really wasn't too much because we're always going to the next thing. So with everything now being shut out and all the noise cut out, this allowed us to actually do some communication with each other, but we had to figure out ways to do so. So we started with what we knew, video game competitions. So what we did is that we went ahead and we had Tetris tournaments. We had competitions on the phone using games like Crazy 8, which is a version of Uno. We started using that to open our lines of communication. And as parents, what we did is that we took advantage of the fact that, just like Vaughn said, our kids went from amplifiers to these condensers. So which meant that the stuff that we wanted to do, we couldn't really have them step into our world anymore. We had to step into theirs.
From doing TikTok videos to the trends, even watching the reality TV shows, the cooking shows, you name it, we've done it.
For other things, for the ones who don't really watch too much TV or anything, for our kids, we had chess tournaments. We started from basics to learning how to play chess to go ahead and playing chess. And then as a couple, we had to think, okay, what are we going to do? And one thing we were able to do is that with our 6-month-old, one thing we would do is shower him together. I would do the showering part in the bathtub, and Melissa would do the changing part. And that was our bonding time because we were able to do something together to build up while also taking care of our son. And the last thing that we did, that was part of our building up as a consensus, as the consensus part was our final thing we were able to do on a daily basis was have family prayer. And in that time, we went ahead and spent our time opening up a passage to the Bible, reading it, and then discussing it with each other, saying, what did you feel? What did you learn? What did you get from that? And that's what has opened up our lines of communication with each other and making the most of these close quarter situations.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Those were some great ideas and some great experiences.
Yes.
Roger, Melissa, thank you. And I love the competitive spirit, Melissa. Joe and Jenny Arzaga, tell us a little bit about what you all have been doing. I hear there's been some fantastic changes.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny. This is Joe. And
Hello.
together we've been married. It'll be 45 years in August. And just want to share a little bit about our experiences during this pandemic. And one of the things is that in the middle of March, a new house, and we downsized. We downsized because our other house was a little bit too big and had too many stairs, and I just got tired of the stairs. So we moved into this house, and we were so excited because it was a year in the making. So once we moved in, it was really fun. So we started unpacking, and about 4 days after we had moved in, they had announced that the city was on lockdown. So after that, we said, wow, God's perfect timing. All day long, we unpack, we decorate, we have fun, we see where this goes and where that goes.
But what she's not telling you is the challenges we had. The movers, all kinds of problems. We come into the house and not everything is done, finished. And so we start packing or unpacking and putting the furniture where we want. And we start speaking a little too loud. She wants the furniture over there and I want it over here. And it's just, it was chaos in a way.
Yes.
But it was beautiful.
It was. But at that point, when it got, the disagreements got a little bit too much, we were aware that it was Satan's attack. and we had to stop. We had to stop, and we had to say, okay, what are we going to do about this? Of course, one of the first things we did was pray. And we prayed and we prayed. And one of the other things, we had missed a couple of church online.
We didn't have any internet.
That's why. So thankfully that 3 days later, we got internet. So we were able to connect to church online. And it just made a world of difference to us. And of course, one of the most important was staying in the Word. And staying in the Word, we would spend time together and talk about it. And then the last thing we did was started to communicate, as Bon has mentioned. Communication in a marriage is one of the most important aspects. And that's what we weren't doing.
Yes.
So once we started communicating and we had made up our minds, okay, we work on the house from this time to this time. After that, we just spend time together. Joe and I are both retired and we're empty nesters. And, so it's just him and I most of the time. Sometimes our grandson and son will come and visit and they'll spend time with us. So of course, that's when we brought out the games, the board games and the Mexican train and all of that stuff, which my grandson really enjoys. Another one was meals. Joe doesn't, a lot of new recipes. And Joe doesn't, he's learned to cook a little bit, not that much, but he's getting there.
I'm learning.
He's learning. And of course, the watching movie stuff. It's always fun to watch movies. I mean, we've seen some of those movies at least 3 times. But I just want to say that one of the most important aspects of the whole thing was that we needed to start communicating with each other and letting each other know, okay, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to come to an agreement before we do this. So with that said, we want to wish everybody well, stay healthy, stay safe, faith over fear, most importantly, and
Yes.
keep your communication to the top.
And I just want to add, if you are getting attacked by Satan, give us a call. Or better yet, give your pastors a call. Thank you.
All. Good night.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Joe and Jimmy, thank you.
Thank you.
Empty nesters that downsized.
That's wonderful.
We may see that in our future.
Yes.
Anyway, next, Marco and Roxanne Martinez. Come on down. Tell us what you've been doing.
And Roxana Martinez. We've been married for 22 years. We have 3 children. Our oldest son is 21. We have 2 daughters, 18 years old and a 7-year-old. And we are so honored to be able to share with you a little bit about our family.
Hey, everybody. Just wanted to say hi. I know that Converse, Texas is in the house. I know the Bowmans are in the house. CJ, Norden, Arizona, Goodyear is in the house. Want to say, hey, howdy, hey, partners, all the way from Texas. I'm glad you guys are on board. Thank you so much for joining us. One of the things that we like to do is we enjoy eating. But one of the things that we really like to do, especially now, is, well, let me show you. Give me a second. One of the things that I really like to do and share with my family, these are marshmallows. Do you guys know what happens with marshmallows? Not only can you do so many amazing things with them, if you really wanted to get into a pillow fight, well, I'm not going to show you, but that's one of the things that we could do. Then you add a little bit of these things. Add some of these, and if you didn't know, I make some of the best Rice Krispie treats on the planet. So if you're in the area in Fabens, Texas, do me a favor, give us a shout out. We'll definitely make you some to go. Curbside, no contact delivery. We would love to share that with you. The other thing, we love to make coffee. We do curbside. You'll see the truck outside. You can't miss it. But one of the other things that we really, really love to do way before all of this happened is we used to play the ABC game. If you've never heard of it, let me show you what it is. our little girl, who is Gianna, she loves to talk, and one of her favorite things is, so what do you want to talk about? And she's the one, she's kind of the instigator to have us talking. So whenever we're in the car, wherever, she wants to do something, she'll say, okay, let's play the ABC game. First, the letter C. So she starts off with the letter C, and then somebody else will come in with a name that starts with the letter C. Carlos.
Cat.
Charlie. Catapult. And you know what it really does? Caterpillar. So what we're going to do right now, for those of you that are watching live, do us a favor. In the comments section, the letter is going to be E as in echo. Put it in the chat, put it in there, put a couple words with the letter E. Show us you're paying attention. This is a blast. But you know what's really great about it is that it really shows, well, at least it shows us and makes us to be creative, both in English and in Spanish with words, much like the letter E, echo, elephant, Ecuador, equator. And it actually forces us to come up with all sorts of words, real words. You can't use made up words, okay? Eduardo, you name it. And, obviously my little girl's vocabulary is a little limited because she's 7, but it forces us to actually come up with different words. Well, look, John Perches is just put eat and edible. Raj put excited. Gina put eggs. Gotta love it. So now the next question is the letter T. The letter T. That's going to be on the chat. You guys are going to see it. The letter T, T for tango. So this is how we just communicate, have a good time, bring in the entire family together. And it really makes us better able to communicate, even if it's small phrases. And it just really makes our family bond. And you can do this on the road. It's a great road game as well. Once we get out onto the road and go grocery shopping or whatever, go to the movies. Christina just put enviously. Isn't that cool? So anyway, from our family to yours, stay safe. God bless you. Make sure you're praying, staying in the word, stay strong. We're believing for you. And if you guys need anything, just holler at any one of us that are on the team. Holler at us on Facebook, on any of the other social media sites. But we're here for you. We want to make sure that your marriage is a success. So God bless you from all of us at Fabens. Peace out.
Marco, Roxanne, thank you. Great words and a great game. Maybe we'll do that tonight. Make it food words.
Food words.
I'm hungry. During Maria Costa, you had a significant occurrence. Tell us about it.
Hi, my name's Mary.
My name's Joe.
And we would like to let you know the disappointment that we thought we were going to have for our anniversary party. We have been married for 50 years as of April the 25th. And our children had been planning a big surprise for us. On May 2nd, we were supposed to have a big dance party at a hall. I mean, the whole celebration, everything had been prepared. We had almost sent all the invitations when all of a sudden, Satan wanted to really hurt us and destroy our joy with this coronavirus. So we didn't know what to do. We said we've sent out the invitations. Mm-hmm. Do we just reschedule? I mean, cancel completely or what? But you know what? We talked to the people in the hall and they were very gracious and said, no, let's reschedule. So we did reschedule. But in the meantime, my daughter saw how depressed we got because of the situation, etc. And she was surprising us with something.
She really gave us a big surprise because she planned everything, and she told us that we needed to get ready on that Saturday.
Which was May 2nd.
Which was May, no, the 25th.
Oh, the 25th.
And
Yeah.
she told us to get ready early. And I said, well, why do we have to get dressed and get ready? Just do it, Dad. Just do it. I need for you to be ready before 6 o'clock. Okay, we'll be ready. And then she said, well, you got to be ready so that we can go outside at 6:30. Well, okay. But before that happened, our door, my phone rang, and it was Jesse and Brenda. And they said, bro, we're outside the door. I said, okay, I'll be right there. So I went and opened up the door, and Jesse and Brenda showed up with a meal for us, a dinner from P.F. Chang. So they gave us dinner, and then they said, well, we got to go and do something, but we'll see you maybe later. Well, okay. So they took off. So my daughter made us go outside. She already put a big banner saying 50th anniversary. She put another poster with our picture when we got married, when we were newlyweds. And she put 50 wedding anniversary. And then all of a sudden we hear a bunch of cars honking their horn. And down the street, Cindy goes out there and starts waving. And here comes all our Christian family riding in cars in a parade.
We had a big parade. Even my daughter went and knocked on our neighbor's doors, so they were all outside also watching. So we had all this parade of our friends with banners and posters and balloons, and we were just having the time of our life. It was so beautiful. We've never had such a big surprise in our lives. It was beautiful. So, you know what? Satan didn't steal our joy. Forget it. We got a bigger one. It was fantastic.
It was the best anniversary that we've ever had. It was just beautiful.
It was very, very nice. So
Great.
yeah, so that was our big surprise. So that doesn't mean that, we're not going to have a birthday party or a surprise party. Don't think that. There's always ways that we can celebrate. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus. We had a great time.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. And congratulations on
Yes.
your 50th wedding anniversary.
Thank you.
Love you all.
That
And
was
let's see.
wonderful.
Ken and Nicole, are you out there?
No.
No. Okay. Jesse and Brenda.
Hey. Did you do it? Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Doing great.
We're doing
Looking
fantastic.
well.
So I'm Jesse.
I'm
This is my wife,
Brenda. Woohoo!
And we've been married almost 5 years. And we've been part of the Married Life team almost as long as we've been married.
Right? Amen.
And we have 2 kids each of our own from previous marriages and 7 grandkids.
It's on my side.
But they love me just as much as if I were their actual grandpa.
Yeah, that's real important.
So that's a real
Good.
blessing. So with all this lockdown happening and the strain of all this, it's put a test on us, more for the fact that Brenda and I have, being essential workers, have had to work more and longer days.
Yep.
And so as much as the strain of being confined can put in a relationship, so can extensive work put on a relationship, put a strain on a relationship. So we've had to deal with that and have understanding of how to deal with that with each other and keep that strain from causing extra weight and strain on our marriage and our communication. So one of the things that Brenda and I, we always make it a point to stay in communication with constant phone calls throughout the day. We call back and forth and we check on each other, and we just try to encourage each other. We start our day with just a positive outlook of our day with prayer and scripture And
Yeah.
we really want to start our morning with that to start our day off. And so the date factor, we try to make every night in this situation, as well as just the way we live, a date night.
Yes.
Our time in the kitchen is enjoyable. Our time cooking is enjoyable because we both enjoy cooking. So we try to be creative in the kitchen and just try to lift each other up. So coming home from a day that we've experienced with the extra weight of all the going on outside of with all this lock-in that's happening, the weight, we make it a point to decompress first when we get home. Just take the weight off of that and make sure that we don't add to each other the weight and the strain. So when we come in, we make it a point to decompress and take the weight off and encourage each other, speak to each other, communicate.
Yes.
So spending the day communicating on whether it's phone call or even if I have the ability to get a quick visit to her office, I'll do so. So coming home to just being able to communicate and decompress and give each other the room and space, it really helps out. It really helps out so that we can communicate easier to each other.
Yeah, and Jesse's a great listener because I think I do most of the talking anyway, and except for now. But I work in apartments, people. Even though we are kind of locked down, I get to hear everything, do everything. Things break, and I'll come home just going, well, and he's still going. But that's the biggest, I think, between us is him listening more than, he just listens to me. And then I start realizing, hey, he's not talking much. He's doing a lot of listening. So I try to, okay, now it's your turn. And he'll tell me his job. But I think in our relationship, listening, understanding, and just, being there for each other, especially in these times, because we have family members that, we have to reach out to and we worry about them. I have an elderly mom who's over 90 and I have to make sure she's doing okay. I can't visit her right now as much because, they say you got to stay away from those that, can end up being, you end up getting sick. So the grandkids, they want to see us and we try to do things, going by and dropping off stuff and coming back home. And like he was saying, every night we try to make a date night. So we do different things. Cooking, he likes the spicy, real spicy. I'm more of the sweets and, I will sit there and try to make it even.
Balance.
But, sometimes it don't work, but you still are nice about it. No. We just are trying. We're probably one of the younger couples married, not younger in age, but married. We have learned a lot in married life from our more experienced couples who have been married 20 years and more. And we're trying to catch up to you guys, I'm telling you. But just know that it's just understanding each other and being in the kitchen and joking around. This guy's a jokester. I mean, on anything. And it's just been so much fun. And I've learned from this that he's not just my husband. He's not just that I love him. He's my friend.
Yeah.
And he's a good friend. Let me tell you. And you need that. You need a relationship. You can have love. You can be, but you got to have that
We
friendship.
like each other.
We like each
We
other.
like spending time.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't always like each other. Trust me. And, trust me.
Wonderful.
And so I can love him, but sometimes I don't like him. And being, like this all the time, but I do. He's my buddy, and
Yeah.
we
We're
care for
friends.
each other a lot. And in our date nights, we start looking at different games. We love to play the games. and we play a pretty good game, and it's for couples, and it's called Discovery. And we'd like for others to get that because only 2 people can play it. And we purchased this game.
It was gifted to us.
It was gifted, yeah. And then we buy something for a couple of people. It's called Discovery, and it does say it's guaranteed. So it's fun. It's kind of like a Monopoly, but it's a lot with questions, and
it's a way to
know more things about each other.
Dealing with awkwardness of whether you're new in marriage or have gone years in marriage and have had a gap in the communication. It's a good way to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And there's always ways
So
to learn something new about each other.
Yeah, so we're gonna end with this. Just hang in there, listen, and this is all gonna be over, and we pray for every one of you all.
Yeah.
And
Pray
this
and
will be
stay in
over
the Word.
soon, and we will be meeting in person. And I miss the buffet. So I love you guys, and
Thank you all. We love you too. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, Brenda. It's awesome. We had a couple folks that gave us some chat ideas.
Yes, Daniel and Thalia, they said they had snowball game. And what they did was they cut out magazines and crumbled them up and had snowball fights. And they said it's also good to include the little ones too. And we had another suggestion by Hector and Yolanda for date night. They load up on dinner and junk food and drive to Scenic Drive and just sit and talk about the week's events. So that sounds like a good idea as well. So that was some of the things that they did.
So interesting, as you looked at the different families and the different compositions, from engaging with the older kids and the younger kids and being creative and stepping into their world, to families getting together and cooking together, creative stories and games that you all have developed, and the unique things that are important to you. It's great to hear what you all are doing and how you all are communicating.
Yes.
And so that is excellent. We like it. We
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And Gayla did something for us. Was it communication? It was, wasn't it? I was doing your love thing. Go ahead and tell them what your love thing is, Gayla.
Playing in the backyard.
Playing in dirt.
Playing in dirt.
So during this time, we've been locked in, nowhere to go. And so Gayla has been playing in dirt. And so we have nearly renovated all of the flowers and all of the planting in the backyard. And I have been a willing participant, especially the Saturday morning where she shamed me and pulled out the lawnmower and cut the grass herself.
We enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it. The other thing that we did, and we'll leave you all with this as we get ready to close, is we do what we call these drive-bys, where we go in, drop off these what we call gift bags.
Gift bags to our family.
And they do the same for us. So
yes,
my daughter came by and she fixed everybody's favorite dish, which is her spaghetti dish. We call it meat pie because it's so heavily loaded with all your great meat. And so she drops off spaghetti, but then she tops it off with your favorite snack. So whatever your favorite snack is, she's got it in the bag, plus the bread, plus everything for the meal, and she dropped it off to everybody in the family. And we've done the same thing. So we do these drive-bys, we fix dinner for everybody. Since we couldn't go over and visit during the early days of COVID-19, we just kind of act like Favor or DoorDash and just dropped off food to everybody. That's our way of saying, hey, we're thinking about you.
Missed you.
We missed you. And we love you. Final thing I want to close with, in Psalm 33, if you read the beginning of that psalm, it really talks about man trusting in the things of this world and his strength and his inventions and the things that he believes he can put his trust in and will save him. But Psalm 33 verse 18, it speaks to the eyes of the Lord are on those who fear him, and on those whose hope is in his unfailing love, to deliver them from death and to keep them alive in famine.
Yes.
We wait in hope for the Lord, for he is our help and our shield. In him our hearts rejoice, for we trust in his holy name. May your unfailing love be with us, Lord, even as we put our hope in you. It is we listen to the news and listen to what's going on. Everyone has a solution. Everyone has an idea of what the outcome can be. But we know, as children of God, that our hope, that our trust, that our faith is in the Lord, and our families are anchored in that. And then at the end of the day, we continue to reinform and reestablish that, not only inside of our families, but all of those whom we meet and touch. I'm so grateful for all of you checking in with us tonight. So grateful for our Mad Life Fellowship team.
Thank you.
Thank you for our producers behind the scenes. Pastor Jimmy, thank you. Thank Nancy. Thank our Mad Life Fellowship team. Thank everyone that had a hand in it. We are looking forward to seeing you on 5 June 2020. It may be online. I'm hoping that it's live and we're back in the campus. But if not, we hope to see you again live on ALFC Married Life. Don't forget, check out our Facebook page, check out our Instagram. We are getting live. Can you believe it? The first Monday in May, we're live.
Wow.
This was our first time, so don't send your critiques, just send your love. This is Vaughn and Gayla. Peace and out. We love you. God bless you.